I'm going hard in the pain, stuff for my niggas who came. I'm out having my way, I made the shit in the day. I'm out here turning heads. I'm out here turning heads. I'm going hard in the pain, stuff for my niggas who came. I'm out here having my way, I made the shit in the day. I'm out here turning heads. I'm out here turning heads.
Turning heads like a chiropractor, I break her off, you holler at her. I'm a high stepper on a giant ladder, my trunk a newborn that got the rattle. Going fishing all on my plates, my chain so throw to the fuck up face. My top got dropped like a favorite rapper when the album flopped and it didn't place. Scrape and crawl, 2 hours out in the old school, I can scrape it all. The cul-de-sac, the parking lot, the valet line, the boulevard. Rings poking like shish kebab on the Barbie grill. The candy spray the way I catch a wave, I could pop trunk on a beta seal, for real.
I'm going hard in the pain, stuff for my niggas who came. I'm out here having my way, I made the shit in the day.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 96 of the Splash Cast, the ATL edition. I'm your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host, Norwood. And I don't know how to feel about the Hawks right now.
Well, since I bought this hat, we at 500. Same way we've been doing. So this hat don't mean shit.
Absolutely. Nothing means anything. We are the most 500 team of all 500 teams in all 500 years of basketball.
So where are we going to start? Let's start with the schedule, and then we'll get to the standings. So the Hawks this week will be right here since we got the schedule. We got to scroll. This last week, from Friday to Saturday, or we'll do Sunday to Saturday, the Hawks play San Antonio, Detroit, Minnesota.
No, you didn't have to bring that one up.
What, San Antonio? And Indiana. I mean, that's part of the week. So last week we played 4 games, 2 at home, 2 on the road. We had just beat Golden State at home, even though Steph Curry went Steph Curry-ish, right? So we had just beat Golden State, and I said on there, if I'm not mistaken, I said the Hawks should have the opportunity. The Hawks should have the opportunity to maybe rattle off some of these wins and get a couple games above 500. I said we play San Antonio. They are literally I think they have 13 wins now after this game. Then we play Detroit. Then we play at Minnesota. We don't know about Karl Anthony Towns. Anthony Edwards had just gotten hurt. I really fear Anthony Edwards more than Karl Anthony Towns. I really didn't care if he came back or not. Then we played Indiana. I thought we were going to go 3-1 here. I thought we were going to give up a game to Indiana and we were going to beat Minnesota. I did not see us losing to San Antonio. We blew this game. We talked about it. We scored 83 points in the first half. We scored, so let's do math real quick. We scored 83 points in the first half. 118 minus 83 is 35. We scored more points in the first quarter than we did the entire second half. We scored more points in the second quarter than we did the entire second half. San Antonio and Keldon Johnson ended up going berserk against us. We could not make a shot. I think in this game, we scored 83 points because we were making all the difficult shots, but we were taking terrible shots. And all of those shots went out the door in the second half. It was a horrible game.
So when you said that we should rattle off a couple games in a row, what did I tell you?
You said, no, we're at 500. We're a 500 team. We're going to stay at 500.
Exactly. Don't trick yourself into believing because you saw one game or 2 games that this team is any different than who it is. This is a 500 team. And in that time, we had the ability to find a way to lose to the San Antonio Spurs, who are one of the worst teams in the NBA, after having the best half in the NBA this season. We did beat Detroit, but it was a dog fight against a team that I feel like we should be substantially better than.
I don't think it was a dogfight. Detroit?
Yes, I feel like for the majority of the game, it wasn't until the very end of the game where I felt comfortable that we were going to win this game. For their roster, we should be able to just beat them handily in the game be over. I knew that we were going to lose to Minnesota because there's too much size in the paint between Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. And the Pacers, they fought us the whole game.
So I always knew that the Pacers game was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be difficult because as much as I think Trae Young is better than Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Naismith, and all of those players have insane games against us because
Jordan Noir going.
And we'll get to it. We'll get to it. They have great games. So I knew it was gonna struggle against Indiana. I assumed that was gonna be the loss. I thought we were gonna win 3 in a row. Personally, I thought we were gonna beat San Antonio. I thought we were gonna beat Detroit. I had no reason to believe that Minnesota was gonna beat us without Anthony Edwards because Cat has been out for 51 games. So even if he was coming back for this game, and I think I texted you when they said he's coming back for the Hawks game, I said, of course, that'd be the game to come back on. I was like, we should be able to beat them. Man, I was watching these games. San Antonio, I turned it off. I turned it off midway through the third quarter. I was like, oh, this game about to be over with. We about to lose.
That is the worst loss of the season. Easily.
100%.
That's embarrassing. That one, and you can't blame that. You can't blame that on Nate either.
I don't really know who to blame that on. I mean, you scored I will say the Hawks with Snyder. Our offense has been humming. I mean, look at the
we don't play any
outside
defense.
of Washington.
We don't play any defense.
Which was a defensive game. We fired Nate on what he's in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's around here.
If you look now, man, we
Miami.
give up a 30-point quarter damn near. Like, that's just normal. And I hate to say it, but that puts you in a tough position. You got to really be scoring a bunch of points because you know you're going to give up 30-point quarters damn near every game, regularly.
And look at it. It's 130, 122, 114 in the defensive battle, which that's where two-way Trae played. 130, 125, 115. We allowed 136. We allowed 140 points. 127, 126, 129, 125, 143. We're averaging, just off the top of my head, that's in the high 120s is what we're averaging. But the defense, man, is so bad.
It is gone. Nate packed up the defense, put it in his briefcase, and left, and it has never come back again.
We don't, and it's discouraging for a multitude of reasons. The surprising part of our defense or lack thereof has been at the 2-guard position. DeJounte Murray. Now he was sick for a week, so I don't know, but his defense has tapered off a little bit. Now he did set the bar super high. I mean, he set it up
high risk, high reward. High risk, high reward. That's how you end up with 100 steals for 4 seasons in a row.
Yeah, he plays like a cornerback, and it comes when it works, it works, but when he's off.
But
man, they scored.
The issue with that is if you were not playing with such another defensively deficient person, you could probably get off with doing that. But when you do that, you break the whole defense down.
And I'll also say in these losses, his offense hasn't been great either. So you could take that defensive argument and put that on the offensive side too. Because Trae, for a lot of these games, especially probably the past 5, DeJounte hasn't. I mean, he didn't have a great game against San Antonio. He was okay against Golden State. I don't think he played against Detroit. He didn't play against Minnesota, and he played against Indiana. And he was okay against Indiana. His offense hasn't been to the level that it was at first. So I think he's starting to hit maybe that wall a little bit. And again, he was sick, so that is a big deal. Because I think he played sick against San Antonio, and he ended up leaving.
He's going to have to escalate his game going forward. He can't have many more. Like at this point, for me, those games are what they are. But you can't keep having these games at this point. You need to play at a high level, or this is going to start looking bad.
Yeah, man. Especially these next. I mean, we got 2 weeks left in the season. We close out at Boston. You can go ahead and assume that's a loss. We play Philadelphia. You can go ahead and assume Embiid Olajuwon is going to be trying to win the MVP. We should beat Washington, should beat Chicago. Dallas is absolutely imploding. Brooklyn, probably a loss. Cleveland, good game, could be a loss. Probably, I say that's a win. Then you got Memphis with Ja back. This next week in basketball is kind of crazy for us.
See, but this is the reason that you can't do exactly what we did last week. So that San Antonio game, we gave them that game. We're going to need that game to try to stay at 500. And then the Minnesota game, we got cheated. So we need both of those games back now and don't have them.
So, I mean, what this does with the playoff picture, right? Let me see if I can slide this over a little bit. But
we just
for the playoff picture,
and we match with Miami. Jeez.
Right now, as it stands, the Hawks match with Miami at the number 8 seed, and Jimmy Butler in Miami just beat the hell out of the Knicks twice.
But they lost last night.
Yeah.
They barely holding on too.
Yeah. But that probably is the worst matchup for us because of our play style.
Definitely.
It's not the worst matchup for us in terms of roster. If we played the correct way and played inside out against the Heat, there's nothing that they could do for us. Nothing.
Well, we're not going to play inside out when we played the Pacers with no center, no Miles Turner, and we just shooting threes. I was counting threes at the beginning of the game, like trying to keep my emotions in check. And I just see three after three after three after three. And I'm like, there's no Miles Turner in the paint. What are you doing? There's nobody to stop John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, or Clint Capella, or really anybody.
Well, DeAndre Hunter didn't.
And that's the reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have like low basketball IQ. I don't want to say that our players don't. Something here, it doesn't make sense to me. The amount of 3-pointers we shot playing against a small lineup made no sense to me. And it has to be on somebody.
Yeah.
That's either the coach not coaching effectively or the players doing anything.
I don't like to speculate, right? But I do. If there's an issue, a fundamental basketball IQ issue across now 3 coaches, is it really on the coach? Is it on the player? Because it's not just Trey, DeJounte, and Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey got that DeAndre Hunter in him. He don't pass that little fake pass that he do that every game, all the time. He will not swing the ball.
I like that. At least he got another move. Like everybody else just shoots it. At least Sadiq will hit you with one to see if you'll bite, and then I just shoot it anyway.
So you have these play and they shoot, but is it on the front office? Is this the way the front office wants to play? We know that the front office is very involved. And when I say front office, I don't mean general manager. I mean basketball operations and owners. Ownership is very involved in how we play. And to me, it's very evident that they are solely focused on money and revenue. So is that on us?
Somewhere
about how
along
we play?
the way, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Because you think about it, playing inside out is boring in basketball. The way that you play now is boring. If you were to play inside out, post John Collins every time, he hit 60% of his shots, pick and roll to to Capella, that's not what you want to see. What you want to see is Trey shooting from half court, DeJounte Murray shaking, somebody getting dunked on from an alley-oop. Like, you don't want to see.
Is that better than winning? That's my question.
Well, that's my point. To me, that's what I think it is.
The self-sabotage just to sell tickets seems backwards because you would sell tickets if the team was good.
Well, I mean,
I can't make sense of it though. I sat there and I almost lost my mind that first quarter because they just kept shooting threes, and I could not for the life of me understand why.
Yeah. So
I don't.
hopefully
That's the reason I try to as much as I can remove myself. Are we going to talk about your boy, or are we going to talk about how we got cheated? Which one you want to talk about?
I'm gonna go down the list. I'm gonna finish this playoff bracket talk. At this point, the Hawks are squarely in the play-in. I mean, the 6th seed is 40-34. We're 37-37. We'd have to win the last 8 or 9 games, and they would have to lose 6 of the last 9 games for us to, or 7 of the 5 of the last 9 games for us to even get to the 6th spot. To then,
so you're telling me we got a chance?
No, I'm telling you we have no chance. So you want to stay in the 7 or 8 spot though, because
it gives you another game.
It gives you 2 games. So you could, at the end of the day, you could end up losing to Miami and then playing Chicago, who we should beat, or playing Toronto, who we have problems with, but we are talent wise, we are better. You don't want to fall. I think
we're the best team in the play-in
because we shouldn't be there. It's easy to be the best team in the play-in when you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be there.
You're right.
The West play-in, right. OKC
There's
should
no
be in
way
the play-in.
that the Knicks should be 5. Boy, Hawks, y'all are some clowns.
So
Brooklyn got rid of Kevin Durant, and they're still better.
And Kyrie Irving, and they have won more games since. But I mean, yeah. So I hope that we figure it out. I see us probably getting to the 7 seed. I see Miami faltering.
The team that owns us. You think that they falter before we do? They own us.
I think we falter together. I just think that they fall a little bit further down.
We all fall.
We all go fall now. Yeah, shoot. But so let's break down with these Hawks. We're gonna break down these last 3 games because we already talked about the Spurs on the last episode. So we're gonna talk about these 3 games: the Pistons, Minnesota, and the Pacers. So we talked about the Pistons, how the Hawks pretty much with this game they led wire to wire. They did let the Pistons power forward end up having like the best game of his life, if I'm not mistaken. He had a career high against
we let every team we're gonna let somebody have, like David Noir. He had 29 points in 5 minutes yesterday. He missed a shot
in 1 quarter. He had 25 in 1 quarter.
He went Clay, and but yes, if you want to have a historic night and also be a nobody, just play the Atlanta Hawks. We will give you that unique experience that you will need to put on game tape so you get hired for the next 7 years of your career. Congratulations.
So against the Pistons, Trey went crazy. Let's look at the stats real quick. Marvin Bagley III had 31 points on 12 of 19. Trey ended up having 30 points,
and 12.
30 points, 12 assists, and 3 3-pointers made. And one of the better, and starting to become a trend of him getting everybody else involved. Now it is against the Pistons, so it's
This is
easier
the
to
team
make shots.
we handled business in this game. I think at one point we went on like a 16-0 run. Bogey, I think hit three pointers in a row at one point.
That kind
Clint
of
had a
broke it
very
open.
solid game with 16 points and 12 rebounds. But this is what you're supposed to do. This is a good team playing a bad team. You know, I'm happy that we did what we did. Also, you probably shouldn't let Marvin Bagley go nuts, but
So Marvin Bagley went crazy, 31
I'm not
and
impressed.
8. Marvin Bagley ended up having 31 and 8. Ivy, Jaden Ivy had 17 and 5. And Killian Hayes had 21 points and 6 assists on 17 shots. So, I mean, defensive wise, we were okay. What I liked about this game is John Collins, 15 and 8. DeAndre Hunter, 12 and 6. Clint Capella, 12 and 16. Trae Young, 30 and 12. Bogdan Bogdanovic, 18 and 3. AJ Griffin, 11. Sadiq Bey, 14. Okongwu, 7, 8, and 3. Everybody, of course, Gary Matthews, Aaron Holiday, and Creech played at the end of the game. But everybody got involved. This game was, I won't say close, but it wasn't put out of reach really until the third quarter. We came out of the half and had a strong third quarter, which historically under Lloyd, under Nate, and under Quinn Snyder, for some reason, when we come out in the third quarter, we get absolutely boat raced every time. So, or for the majority of the time, I won't say every time. But this game, they actually did pretty well. And they actually shut down the Pistons and put the game out of reach. Go ahead.
But with that said, also, Detroit has lost 15 of their last 16 games. They're the worst record in the NBA. Once again, man, congrats on doing your job. Y'all all got paid a lot of money to do your job tonight. Congrats.
So we won that game. Like I said, Trae Young, 30 and 12, had a hell of a game. DeJounte Murray, this was one of the games he sat out because he had a non-COVID illness. We also, a big piece that we've missed for the whole week has been Jalen Johnson.
Correct.
The one thing that Quinn Snyder has gotten correct, or I'll say one of the things that Quinn Snyder has improved on since he's been named coach is allowing Jalen Johnson to push the ball up the court and playing him more. It sucks that it's because you can't play AJ Griffin anymore because you have a 9-man rotation, but Jalen Johnson, for what we need as a team, is the better fit for the rotation. So we're missing him as well, which is a big deal.
Except for when he plays and goes nuclear like he has done now that Jalen's been out. I really thought about this. I think that every rookie since Trae and Herter, all of those guys have not gotten enough playing time every season. Not one season. We've never managed a rookie properly.
And that's not that's
an organizational thing.
Lloyd didn't play Cam.
As
Nate was on
as well
Lloyd's,
as we've done with rookies that played.
Lloyd didn't play Cam.
Have not played.
It started with Cam.
Terrible.
It started with Cam. Lloyd didn't play Cam. Nate was on Lloyd's staff. He didn't play any rookies.
Nope.
And Nate did not develop, and he said development time was over. I don't know if that's organization, if it was just those two coaches' philosophy. Like, they didn't.
Okongwu should have played way more. Jalen Johnson should have played way more. Sharif Cooper, I believe, should have played way more. AJ Griffin should have played more. So I'm a firm believer that I don't know if AJ Griffin he's probably not top 2 in rookies, but he's top 5 in rookies if he plays the amount of time that he should have this season. I am a firm, because every time he gets in, he gets in and makes great basketball decisions. Every time his defense has come along, And he
I don't think his
knows
defense
I'm
was
only
ever
gonna
an
get a
issue.
few shots, and he's not afraid to shoot them, and he makes them.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that he's probably in the upper half of rookies. You, the
Man,
top
if
two
not for
is
the time that we
easily.
let the damn Holiday brothers play instead of AJ Griffin, that is criminal.
Yeah. So I mean, but we did what we had to do against the Pistons. That was a game that we were supposed to win. Then we played the Timberwolves. I was and am absolutely furious at how we always lose to the Timberwolves. Because in this game, they didn't have Anthony Edwards. Now, John Collins, 7 of 9, 16 and 5, um, was only a -3, and it really shouldn't have been a -3, but he was -3 in point differential. DeAndre Hunter, 16 and 4, Capella, 11 and 8, Trey, 29 and 8, Bogey, 11 and 2, Sadiq Bey, 16, Okongwu, 14. This loss
For me,
was
well,
frustrating.
go ahead.
This loss was frustrating because John Collins was clearly the best player on the court for the Hawks the majority of the time. He hit a fadeaway from the corner at the shot clock was going there. He caught it on a curl, fadeaway from and then didn't take another shot until the third quarter. And this was in the first quarter. He came out scorching. And then from a coaching standpoint, so we got down after the second quarter, right? And in the third quarter, we ended up putting in the bench. If you remember, we put in the bench, right? The bench outscored the starters for Minnesota. And he kept playing the bench into the fourth quarter. And then right as they were going, he took everybody out and put in the starters. And of course, then we ended up getting cheated. What were you about to say, though?
So, Minnesota's bench played really good in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden McDaniels played good. Nas Reed had another 26 points off the bench. I don't really get as mad about this game. I don't think that we match up very well against the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns are probably not really. We're not really set up to deal with that very well. So I was more okay with this loss. Now, would I probably played more through John? Of course. John is also the king of the good first quarter, and then after that, nothing else happens.
Oh shoot!
And I don't really know what to make of that. I don't know if that's him or I don't know if that's team wise.
Where'd you go? Oh, there.
This game was also refereed very, very, very bad.
So that's the thing about this game that also pissed me off. This game was refed horribly. I did not know I could do that. That is a game changer. This game was refed horribly. Before we get there, let's acknowledge Trey. 100 games in a row with 5+ assists. As a point guard, I feel like,
I was gonna say 101 because before he got thrown out, he got the 5 assists.
I feel like as a point guard, this really shouldn't. I mean, this is just really this generation's participation trophy. Like you're supposed to have 5 assists every game if you're a point guard, in my opinion. Call me old school, call me what you want. He's 9th all time. He's behind the greats of Tim Hardaway Sr., 102. John Stockton had 95. Magic Johnson had 91 of 5+ assists in a row. So he's got a long way to go, but he's on his way.
Yeah, and I mean with the players that you have on this team, and at the pace they play basketball now, yeah,
it should be easy. So let's get into
this is frustrating. This is immensely frustrating.
So this last 2 minutes is 125, 124. They had let me set the scene for the Hawks versus the Timberwolves. The Hawks were winning Timberwolves got the ball with 8 seconds left. They gave the ball to Karl Anthony Towns. He goes, drives around John Collins, hooks him, clear hook. But John flops. So to me, John flops. Karl Anthony Towns gets the call. He call a foul. Hawks challenge, lose. Karl Anthony Towns hits the 2 free throws. They're up to 125, 124. We get the ball, call timeout. We get the ball with 3 seconds left, and we end up running a play. Let me make sure this is muted. We end up running a play, and while running the play, we ended up getting fouled. So here we go. What you about to say?
We just get cheated all the time, but keep your eye on Saddiq Bey in the paint.
So Saddiq Bey is at the top of the key. Just watch him. So he goes around, curl, Saddiq Bey, they run. DeAndre Hunter shoots the ball. Saddiq Bey gets undercut by and dropped by what's the former Hawk name?
Naz Reid.
Nope, that's not Naz Reid. He used to play for the Hawks. Went to Baylor.
Oh, Taurean Prince.
That's Taurean Prince. So he gets undercut by Taurean Prince. We protested. Everybody said, it's not a foul, blase, blase, blah. The NBA actually came back and said that it should have been a foul. If I'm not mistaken. Because I got to scroll down.
Yes, the very bottom, the 2-minute report just basically explains that he was undercut. We should have got 2 free throws.
Prince moves backwards into Bey's body, and the contact affects his putback shot attempt at the basket. Should have been a foul.
It's not like we need games or anything.
And if you really look at
not like we're in a playoff hunt. Not like our team isn't splitting at the seams. We need these games. We have to beat referees and beat teams with 8 feet monsters. Congratulations. Welcome to being a Hawks fan, ladies and gentlemen. Like, follow, and subscribe.
Yep. So that's frustrating, but we ended up, we lost this game.
That's a very nice way to put it, Reggie.
We ended up losing this game, and, that kept us at 500. That was a gut punch to me. That was a gut punch for me because I thought we were going to win this game. Karl Anthony Towns.
It's on the heels of the last game we lost against the San Antonio Spurs. Just getting stomped out as a fan now. I'm telling you that.
Now, in that game, what I don't understand how Jay McDaniels for Minnesota just keeps going off against us. 25 points, 6 rebounds. The defense against the 4 position, which has just been absolutely dreadful. And it's not all on John. It's on everybody that plays that position. John, DeAndre Hunter, and Saddiq Bey is awful.
Out there getting
awful
cooked on defense.
He is awful.
It is one, like I've said a million times. Number one, Nate took the defense when he left. We stopped defending at night, and we weren't even at a high level then. We were at a decent, good, mediocre level. Now we are Nikola Jokic on defense. We're not even trying.
Also, before we move on to the Pacers, we got to acknowledge Onyeka Okongwu. He extended his block streak to 8 straight games, and I believe right now, as of the schedule, it's really at 9 because he definitely had a couple, but he had a disrespectful block against the Pacers.
Absolutely.
So he's at 9, which is the longest streak of his career and the 3rd longest active streak in the NBA today.
So we have a problem. And if nobody's figured that out, there is no good solution between Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu. I am sorry. Whatever it is, it's a problem.
So
it's a good problem to have, but boy, somebody ain't gonna be here next year, and it's gonna be sad.
So then we ended up playing. So keep that in mind about Big O, right? Keep that in mind about Big O. He's been playing out of his mind. He's actually averaging almost 3 blocks, 10 rebounds, and like 12 points a game per 36 minutes that he's been playing since they've been playing him more, splitting the minutes. which is kind of crazy.
And I will actually say that our bigs have been playing very well. John Collins, Onyeka Okongwu, and Clint Capella have been doing
work.
Excellent work.
And Jalen Johnson.
Clint Capella is, I think, 6 in rebounds. He's top 20 in blocks. The bigs are doing their job. And you know what that typically means, because we still lose.
So then we ended up playing the Pacers. This was the game I thought we were going to lose. Then they said they had no Miles Turner, and I was like, oh, we should win. Then I was like,
5 million.
So the Pacers, and I'm not even going to lie to you, the Pacers and the Hawks it was a good game, but the Hawks defense wasn't that bad against the Pacers. We allowed 130 points, right? Tyrese Halliburton only had 19, but he had 13 assists. Benedict Mathurin had 4. Benedict Mathurin destroyed the Hawks last time he played us. He only had 4 points.
He's a very confident shooter. He's a guy who does not mind shooting difficult shots. And I saw him take Clint down there on the baseline and hit him with a step back fade. And I was like, oh, this is and
in the
Clint
corner.
Played great defense. Yes.
Nothing you could do.
And he just made it. And I was like, I wanted to be mad, but you can't be mad. Clint played good defense. And Ben just
I wasn't mad.
I
just said good shot. Good shot. You gotta eat that.
I was tight though. I was big, man. I was like, you don't even do Clint Capella like that, man.
I was like, that happens. That happens. It is what it is. But
man,
the game against the Pacers, dog, like what I'm looking at, the Pacers, everybody on the Pacers shot over 50%, not named Chris Duarte. They went 50.
He's falling off so fast.
I mean, they don't have nobody. Benedict Mathurin is Benedict Mathurin. Who is he gonna play over? And then they got Noir.
Nobody.
So, the Hawks the Pacers ended up shooting 54%, but they were only 37% from 3. Like I said, Halliburton was 19 and 13, and
Jordan
everybody
Noir,
else was just kind of like mid, 11, 14, 12, 11, 10, 16, 4, and then there's Jordan Noir. 25 points in the second quarter. Did not miss a shot. Jordan Noir.
Now, and I think the issue.
I got nothing for it. He hit everything that you could possibly shoot.
Oh no, and he was just making them, and you were like, and it was the Hawks versus him, and he was holding them off. He was like, "Nah, I got him." And the rest of my team is doing absolutely nothing, but that's fine. I got him. Well, once Trey got kicked out of the game, I think that's when the Pacers lost. Unfortunately, that re-energized the rest of the team. And after that, they were like, oh, we're going to win now. And they looked like a team possessed after that.
I have a different opinion. I agree to a certain extent that the Hawks got energized. So Trey ended up getting kicked out of the game. As you can see, they say Trey threw the ball towards the ref after disagreeing with the offensive foul. First off, yes, he threw the ball towards the ref. The way that's read and captioned, it's you could think he like wound up and just No, he just he was mad. What they did, he thought this was an and 1-3, but he really did kick his leg out. So he got called for the offensive foul. He got mad, pissed off, right? And and if you look at the score, I think the score was like 84-70 something. That was gonna end up breaking the game open. He gets mad. You see everybody, so they ended up calling this. And is it this one? So he's upset, goes into timeout.
Right,
he gets mad, and that he throws the ball at the ref. Him throwing the ball at the ref like that is what got him ejected.
Absolutely.
Do you think he meant that on purpose?
Absolutely. Everybody knew he did it on purpose. If you go back, if you look at Beat's face, look at his face. Why did you do that? You can see it.
Yeah.
Cretchy, it's every time I watch the video, I die laughing because he's really like, it's that one person that just got everybody in trouble. That's who he is. All right, whatever it is, look at his face. Damn it. See?
Well, as soon as he threw the ball, the ref was like out of there. He didn't even signal technical foul. Because Trey had no technicals. This was a two technical foul offense, allegedly.
Yes. Thank the Lord, though. Because due to the fact that he got kicked out after this and not 2 techs,
he's at 15. He's at 15
yes,
techs. He's not
15
suspended.
has to get to 16. But the other part about this is they're going to suspend him for this.
You think so? I think they would have suspended him already if they would. Like Luka Doncic is going to get suspended. They've already announced it.
No, they just fined him. They fined him $35,000.
Luka is suspended for 16 techs. He got a tech today.
Oh. I think that they may suspend Trey for throwing the ball at the referee.
I don't think so. I think him getting 2 techs, I don't think they'll suspend him.
But he only got 1 because it was an immediate ejection. But the next game is, so if he gets another technical foul between
if he gets another tech, he's suspended. I thought you were saying they could suspend him for throwing the ball at the ref, and I was like, nah.
I think that they might. I mean, or he's at minimum fine, but I would not be surprised if they suspended him. Man, because it's lucky he caught the ball. But if he don't catch the ball and you hit somebody in the face, hit somebody in the nose,
now his
you got
nose
a real
broke.
issue there.
Yeah, now his nose is broke. So,
and you've assaulted the referee,
yeah.
That's like putting your hands on him. You break somebody's nose.
Yeah. So we ended up. You made a point earlier that the team kind of rallied around each other after Trey got kicked out, because while we were beating the Pacers, we weren't running away with the game. The Pacers were just hanging around. I mean, and they do run, but everybody ended up getting involved. Yeah, I didn't. Everybody else ended up getting involved in this game. John Collins had 21, led all scorers for the Hawks. Led the Hawks with 21 points. DeJounte had 20. Sadiq Bey had 18. Clint Capella had 17. We'll come back to Clint Capella. Garrison Matthews, 14. I didn't know he could shoot like that. Oh, San Diego State.
Yeah. Yes, that was the selling point of him, was he can really shoot the ball. And I saw him pass the ball a couple times once the offense got moving. And I was like, oh, you kind of fit in the offense. You're not like, as much as I like Krejci, he just don't have that same level of confidence when he's on the floor.
Oh, over Garrison? No. Garrison Matthews can shoot out of this world. He hit one that was like Klay Thompson. Like, he came off the curl. The heel was above the line and hit that 3. And I said, oh, you can do that?
Which doesn't make sense. Like more and more of why I'm not signing Bogut. But I've seen him in practice do that. I know somebody has to know that AJ Griffin has ice in his veins and does not care what's going on. He's going to shoot it and make it.
Yeah. No, AJ Griffin has been kind of off. But yeah, Trey Young had 14, who probably would have had more points if he didn't get kicked out. Actually, I know he would have. Onyeka had 12, and AJ Griffin ended up having that's funny. Ended up having 11 points. What I wanted to bring up about this game, and you brought it up earlier, you kind of hit that point on the head. The front court has been playing out of their mind. Clint Capella. That's when we started to separate. The game was back and forth, and then I don't know if DeJounte just decided to give the ball to Clint, but Clint went 17-17 for 100% field goals. He had 12 for 12. Not 12 for 12. 17 points, 17 rebounds, and he only missed 1 free throw against the Pacers. And he was just playing out of his
This
world.
is the point. Like, this is how I started the game. There's nobody on the Pacers that can do anything with any of our bigs. And it was, look. It's not even, they're not even in the right position. They're not even attempting. Whatever he wanted, he was getting. And all the bigs were getting it. But we shooting threes.
What I see Quinn Snyder is implementing, though, is that big to big action. You see how he's letting John Collins really facilitate, almost as if he's plugging John Collins into okay, well, I can do that all the time now. I can put John Collins at the free throw line, at the wing, and he'll just pass you have to do something because John is hitting the mid range, and Capella's wide open. All of his looks are at the rim.
If John can just get to the point where he can catch the ball at the free throw line, put the ball on the floor, and either make the short pass to the big or attack the basket, you changed everything. That if he can do that confidently 90% of the time, right now I think he's about 65, 70. That's my fair assessment. If he can do that, if he can get that to the next level of I can pass you the ball and you can make 1 to 2 good dribbles, you change everything. But it's too many times where he overextends himself and he'll get out of position. They'll take the ball from him.
John can't dribble. You gotta give John the ball at the free throw line and let him either or post him. You can't give him the ball so that he faces up and you gotta get him to dribble. That's not his game.
But you gotta let him get reps. Like it's like anything. You still gotta give somebody an opportunity to do this in the game. You don't ask him to do it enough for him to be confident in doing it when it really matters.
Yeah, but our front court has been playing really, really well. They're gonna have to. Jaren Jackson Jr. He reminds me of Bam Adebayo.
It's a parade inside my city. Yeah, they finna go crazy on us, man.
So you should have everybody for the first time in this matchup. I think everybody. Oh no, because they don't have Steven Adams. I was gonna say everybody's healthy, but they don't have Steven Adams, and they lost a dude to the Achilles.
What are you talking about? We are the team that's healthy-ish, and we have the problem. We play in 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, we do play in 2 hours. Let me go ahead and get this over with. So yeah, Hawks. Well, I mean the Hawks segment. We still got to talk about the Falcons and the Braves. The Hawks have 3, 6, 8 games left. I have no reason to believe that we will go anything less or more than 4-4. So, 40-40 or 41-41.
Thank you for learning with Norwood.
41-41 for the season gets you 7th place. I think 41-41 gets you 7th place.
You mid.
Yeah, mid. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the Hawk segment of episode 96 of the Splashcast, the ATL edition. We have the Falcons, going to be a quick segment, and then the Braves going to be a quick segment, and then we're going to get on out of here. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. What can they do, Norwood?
Like, follow, subscribe, listen to the playlist. That's it. We
do
thank
it all,
you.
man. Appreciate y'all. Be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Falcon segment of episode 96 of the Splashcast, the ATL edition. Got a few things we're going to talk about today. Real quick. Off season is here. Free agency is here. Also, it's getting closer to the draft, which means it's getting closer to OTAs, mini camp, first days, all of that stuff. So football season is about to ramp up. And it always starts out with what? Free agency. So let's talk about the Hawks free agency haul. I think we're pretty much done. I don't think we're going to pick up anybody else. I could be wrong.
We really waste a lot of time doing what we needed to do.
Not at all.
Which makes me feel a lot more confident that they were going in and they had all of these players kind of zeroed in as who they were interested in. And then they just went and kind of, handle exactly what they want.
Yeah. So, the Falcons started out with $63 million in cap space. And now we're sitting at about, at the time of this research, which was, this morning, we got about $20 million in remaining and have signed or re-signed 15 players right after free agency opening. Of course, our pie in the sky, so to speak, was Mr. Jesse Bates III, a.k.a. top 3 free safety in the league.
Yep.
Signed him 4 years, $64 million.
This is a big move for us. This is a move. I also want to say this is an effective move for us. We knew who we wanted. We spotlighted very early who we wanted, and we went out and got our guy. That makes me feel confident that they can identify available talent and go after it. And that's exciting for a team that is in transition, to say the least.
Yeah. With the loss of Isaiah Oliver as our nickelback, we needed, which happened after this. We knew going in that we had to strengthen our secondary, strengthen our defense, but definitely strengthen our secondary.
Yes.
The team pretty much teams were scoring all of these points, throwing for all of these yards on half the field. Outside of the Saints in the first game, nobody really threw at AJ Terrell all season. Yes, I mean every cornerback is going to give up one or two plays here or there, but for the most part, nobody. They just threw at the other side because Casey Hayward ended up getting hurt, and our safeties, while they are youthful, I mean not youthful, well they are youthful, while they are very excited and play with a lot of enthusiasm, they're still young. And they're not we don't take advantage of turnovers. We drop interceptions, we miss tackles, and all of that.
Jeez.
What Jesse Bates does is erase all of that stuff, right? It's supposed to, and it allows us
Prayerfully.
it allows us to now focus on getting a cornerback in the draft, because we signed one cornerback, but it wasn't who you thought it was. So we ended up signing Mike Hughes, who was okay signing. 2 years is really a depth signing. 2 years, $7 million. He's supposed to be the nickel back, but this signing tells me that the nickel back is just basically a big open competition. There's nobody favored. You brought in Mike Hughes at 2 years, $7 million to compete with D. Alford, and some of the other players that they re-signed.
And that's a 1 year deal for sure.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, you can get out of it if you don't love it. The secondary, and I don't hate that competition. I feel like we have enough kind of good enough players that healthy competition and the best person, we might not be world beaters there, but I think that the starter will be good. And for any reason, if somebody isn't in, their backup will be more than competent. Versus like last year, we didn't have that.
At Nickelback, we actually had a good Nickelback. I think what you're saying is good for the Nickelback. I think for 100% the Falcons are going for a cornerback in the draft. They're either going to take the highest rated corner. They may just take the highest rated defensive player, whether that's going to be your defensive end, whether that's your defensive tackle, whether that is your cornerback. I think they're going to take the highest rated defensive player.
So no receiver. Receivers off the board?
Not at 8. Not at 8. Who you going to take?
And no lineman.
O-lineman? No. So, well, let's get to it. So with the O-line, we signed Ifedi back, Jermaine Ifedi, to basically compete at the left guard spot. He's a tackle, but he's a backup to McGarry, but he also can play right guard, swing tackle, and left guard. We also ended up re-signing Caleb McGarry. By re-signing Caleb McGarry, that keeps your right tackle with Lindstrom together, and we signed him to 3
on a team-friendly deal.
Years. Yep, and of course we signed Lindstrom, and at that point you already have Jake Matthews, and you already have Dalton as your center. So the only thing you draft is a guard. I could see them drafting a guard. I don't know if you draft a guard at 8. Skoronski?
Yeah, that's what I keep seeing. I see Skoronski, the defensive end from Texas Tech, if he's still available. And then every now and then I'll see Joey Porter Jr. or the kid from, I think he's from maybe Oregon that plays cornerback, Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez, 6'2", runs a 4.3 40. Yeah.
Those are the guys who I see in constant rotation at 8 for us.
Yeah, I see it. It's definitely defense. The reason you also don't see us drafting a receiver or predicted to draft a receiver is because we signed Mike Hollins. So Mike Hollins is a 6'4" 6'4"? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
6'4", 225-pound wide receiver who finally he was a special teamer for most of his career, but he actually got a chance to be a starting receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he is actually very, very effective in what? Run blocking.
Pass blocking. Run blocking. Yes.
Run blocking. So he had 57 receptions with 690 yards and 4 touchdowns last year on a team with Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and Derek Carr. You have 57 catches for 690 yards. You can pencil him
more
in.
Than
yeah,
we like
and 4
that.
touchdowns. You can pencil him in as probably your wide receiver number 2, in my opinion. Which is why you don't draft a wide receiver in the first round. What say you? What you think? And it's a 1 year
That's
deal.
tough because, yeah, it's a good deal on a guy who does what you really want him to do. Mm-hmm. Offensively, I'm about to talk myself into this. In offensive, sometimes you just see it. I'm going to walk myself right into it. Y'all might as well have a seat. Come on with me. So, you got Drake London and Kyle Pitts. That's going to be your option 1, option 2, however you want to pick it. Then after that, you have Jonnu Smith, who will be option 3. And then you have Mac Hollins, who will be option 4. He blocks very well. He's played in a team where he wasn't the focus and thrived. And he's big like every other wide receiver we got. Welcome to the Atlanta Falcons. We're all ready for you to be here.
Yeah.
See how easy that was?
Yeah. So we have him. Then you still got, Cordell Patterson that you can just put anywhere.
Exactly.
So, you ended up signing him. And we re-signed Cornell Armstrong as well. But I would probably say our biggest signings were on defense. Of course, you had Tay Davis, special teamer. We used a lot of our money to kind of fill out the
linebacker.
roster. Yep. But then you also have, hope this works.
David Onyemata.
You got, yeah. Is that how you say his name? David Onyemata.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman. So he, as you know, we signed the Saints defensive line coach to be our defensive coordinator, and he's brought over 2 Saints, one being David Onyemata. His philosophy is kind of like UGA's philosophy when it comes to offensive linemen. They cross-train from nose tackle to defensive end. David Onyemata can play the 3 technique, which is the D tackle. He can play the nose tackle, and he can play the hand in the dirt 4-3 defensive end, which gives you a lot of flexibility to play multiple defensive fronts without having to make a bunch of substitutions.
And the good thing is, they're going to move all of these guys through. He's been pretty durable, and he's an aggressive player, and that's what the Falcons have been looking for. And let's be real, we're just stealing the Saints team. Started with Terry Fontenot, and he's just over there cherry picking whatever he wants. Whatever he wants and he thinks he can get, he is stealing from the Saints.
Yeah, and we'll get to it. We'll get to the other point. Then we also signed Caden Ellis as well. Caden Ellis, another Saint. He was a special teamer, but he ended up getting his spot last year, being able to play in his opportunity, and he ended up getting 7 sacks, and he's extremely athletic, which is something that I see that we're going for at the linebacker position. The first linebacker that they drafted was the guy from Montana that can play running back and linebacker, fastest linebacker in the draft. So you sign Caden Ellis to a 3-year deal, which is really another deal that you get out of after 2024. It's another 2-year deal. 7
you think
sacks.
he sees any time an edge?
Yeah. No. Well, I don't know. I think he is the blitzing linebacker. I think you'll end up blitzing him from
hand in the dirt.
Nope. He's going to be middle linebacker and probably your blitzing linebacker. I can see that. So they got him. I mean, 3 years, $21 million. David Onyemata, 3 years, $35 million. we ended up getting these players at basically 2-year contracts.
Yes.
Here's one signing that I really wasn't a fan of, but I get it.
Oh, no. Once you look at his stats last season, his stats are this is an upgrade from Mariota.
Well, hold on. For the
Which
people that are listening, we're talking the Falcons signed Taylor. That's why the Falcons signed Taylor Heineke.
my bad.
Washington, former Washington quarterback, Washington Commanders quarterback, now will be the backup quarterback in Atlanta. Now,
I felt like you when I first saw this signing. I saw the money, 2 years, it's like $20 million. I was immediately angry. Then I looked at it again. That's the same thing we were going to pay Marcus Mariota anyway. And he was a starting quarterback for a middling team last year. He wasn't the reason that they played, that they didn't. He wasn't a detriment to their team. And had he played for the Falcons last year, I think we're probably a playoff team. So I feel a little bit more confident in this pick now. For any reason, God forbid you have like a Trey Lance situation. I feel like Heineke can get the job done. I also feel like, if the Ritter thing just doesn't end up working and we need to go in another direction for any reason, I feel like he can get the job done. He's not a world beater, but of that class of guys that me and you always talk about that are like right on the cusp between starting and being a backup, I think that he is the top of that class.
I didn't like this one at first until I read up on it.
You gotta talk yourself. Once you look at the stats, you be like,
I literally was about to say, so take this ride with me. I'm about to do the same thing Norwood did. I ain't even talking about stats. I thought he signed for 2 years, $20 million. 2 years, $14 million. He says, and this is a quote from him, he told reporters he's joining the Falcons to back up and mentor Desmond Ridder. He's from Lawrenceville, Georgia, and he wanted to come home. And his deal is essentially structured as a 1-year deal with the expectation that he can either be brought back as a relatively affordable backup to Ridder or cut, or if Ridder falters and the Falcons want to bring in a new starter and demote the third-year quarterback to number 2. He is the ultimate team player, flexibility-friendly contract, team-friendly contract, and understanding of his role on this team. I think that is more the reason that they signed him versus anybody else, because they learned it. I'm shooting Terry a whole lot of bail, but I think they learned, and give him credit, I think they learned from Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota saw himself as a starter. And when he got demoted, I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can say all this other stuff and give these reasons why he left. He quit because he quit. He quit because he wasn't starting. Taylor Heineke knows his role. Marcus Mariota still thinks he's something that he's not, or something that he was, and he's not anymore. Either way.
It's gotta be the liquor, or it's gotta be the drugs. In the famous words of Stephen A. Smith, stay off the weed,
man.
But for me, also, I don't think that his intentions are that pure. Just like I don't feel like Mariota's were. I think he's in a situation where he looks at this team and says, well, damn, they got some pieces here. They surely got a couple pieces here. And look, that idiot Mariota, he got into 7 and 10. I know I could probably do that. And I mean, I don't know if Desmond Ridder's good or not. Either way, I was probably going to be a backup. I can't be a backup. You say he's from Georgia. I can be a backup at home. And there's at least a 50% chance that this doesn't work.
And he's from Lawrenceville, which means he's down the street from the crib.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is a no-brainer for him.
This is a high probability that this is a Jimmy G job. You just stick around long enough, somebody give it back to you. And you want this job, it's still here. Yeah. And we don't have nobody, so all I can do is get some good publicity, and either I play for a team that's pretty good. If this thing goes bad, I probably get a chance to play.
Yep. So the Falcons, and then everybody else that the Falcons signed, aside, I do like the Lorenzo Carter signing. I think he is another versatile player that can stand up
I
or
told you.
put his hand in the dirt. What the re-signing of him? He came on at the end of
No.
last year. Or what?
Yeah. At the very beginning, I was like, they're gonna sign this dude again. They like him. He plays. He's just he's another good football player. I can get out there. I can do my job at a pretty good enough level.
Well, he plays the run very, very well from a stand-up linebacker position, which is something that we needed because Arnold, AK, and D'Angelo Malone, and probably anybody else that we draft is not, unless it's Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson, are undersized, right? So you don't have anybody and our linebackers, while they are athletic, they're not the biggest linebackers. So
They're small.
Grady Jarrett ain't the biggest dude either. Onyemata ain't 350 pounds. So you need somebody that can hold up against
Stabilize that.
And that's what Lorenzo Carter is there for. Everybody else, Keith Smith, we
have a tough team.
We got a tough team.
I've never used that word to describe the Atlanta Falcons. Tough. I feel like CP is tough. I feel like Algiers is tough. I feel like London is tough.
Mac Hollins might be if he good at blocking. I mean, he likes something.
Yeah, like we have players who don't mind contact. In the past, I think we've had very skilled players. I'm not sure we've always had the most physical or tough players. This is interesting from a team that I think that the NFL has typically believed is pretty soft.
I mean, we have been. So, and then finally we signed, Cornell Armstrong, a punter, who's actually pretty good, probably one of the better signings. Parker Hesse,
we paid him.
Yeah, 3 years, $8 million, $9 million. Parker Hesse, who's a really good H-back / blocking tight end, and then we signed our long snapper as well as some cornerback depth. So the Falcons have used the rest of the money after making the big splash is just to shore up the rest of the team, which when we talked about it,
just one step up.
When we talked about it, we made the point last year like, you get Julio and Matt Ryan off the books, but you get everybody off. Everybody that they signed in the last offseason was not this offseason. Last offseason was a 1-year deal. Everybody. So I was
and they're spending the ball right now. They're managing the future cap so that we continue to have money in the future. I think Pinion they spent a little bit more money on because he can do plays kicking and he can punt, so it's a good investment. And who was the other one that I was thinking about?
Keith Smith, the fullback.
I think that might. That I know Pinion was one that to me. Parker Hesse as the blocking tight end. Mm-hmm. So hey, when it's time to block, hey, this is all you. But we still got Pitts. We still got
Jonnu Smith, which is a crazy addition to me.
Jonnu Smith,
really addition.
Yes, and we're short one guy.
Mac
Pitts, Jonnu Smith,
Mac Hollins.
Oh no, not Mac Hollins. It's somebody else. It'll come to me in a minute. As far as
that we signed on offense,
but I feel
Parker Hesse
that we had. Yes, is it just those three?
Oh, the in the practice team player. The black dude with the dreads. Yeah. He ended up. He's not gonna make the team.
I'm very confident in all of the groups so far. The running back room, I still think we're probably gonna draft one of those guys, and I think we'll probably end up with a veteran. The wide receiver room is stable. Tight end group stable. Offensive line stable-ish, strong.
We have one. We still got the same pothole in the offensive line that we got to fill, and that's your left guard. If you can figure out left guard, then we're kind of crazy. if you figure out left guard, but
and then defensive line, I feel like all these guys have gotten. We may not be not be strong, but it's stable. We got a stable defensive line, and that's a step in the right direction.
If you think about it, he's building the Saints defense in Atlanta. You get good secondary, decent linebackers, and rotational defensive players with a stable with a staple, not
Yeah.
stable, a staple defensive line, which is Grady. So you get those guys. I mean, everybody else, that's what he's doing. So, but you
It
made
just
2
it's
points.
strategic, and you can tell that they got like a game plan. I'm
2 points. One, you made the point of they're positioning themselves to make moves next year. The Falcons, as of now, with the salary cap going up, if they were to not, re-sign some of the 1-year contracts and everything and just have the players under contract that they have under contract now for 2024, would have $60-something million in cap space again. So, and next year's free agent class is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, Josh Jacobs, just to name 3 players. Derrick Henry, there's a couple receivers
Mike
in there
Evans.
as well. Mike Evans, just to name a few. So if you go in there with $60 million again next year, you're kind of crazy. So they're definitely.
I think
making
they're
good
trying
points.
to stay from getting head over heels.
Well, that's what he who shall not be named said in a podcast interview. He said that the Falcons do not want to. The former GM of the Falcons said the Falcons do not want to get into cap hell again with contracts like Julio and Matt Ryan at the end of their career. So you're going to see more 3-4 year contracts at the most from this regime, which is good for me.
I think that's even better for the guys who get paid a lot of money, because eventually Matt was just having to restructure the contract to make the team livable. If you get paid a ton of money, but you got to restructure and your team is just basically, paper mache, and what are you really doing? And that's what I think was the downfall of Matt Ryan. But love those guys and bring Julio back. I
wouldn't mind it. You can re-sign Julio, let him retire as a Falcon. Important dates coming up. April 17th is the first day that you can actually, first day of off season. OTAs. I mean, of course, you have the draft, which is April 27th. So that's why you don't really see anything from 17th to May. Is because you have to have the draft, and then you have to have rookie mini camp. So you have April 17th is when the first day of all season starts. The draft April 27th starts. OTAs for the entire team May 23rd to 25th, May 31 to the 2nd, and June 6th through the 9th, and then mandatory mini camp is in June. So the off season is about to ramp up. So we'll be able to see what these pieces look like together. Can't wait for it. Can't wait.
Yes. And I guess we're still required to monitor this Lamar situation, see how it goes.
No, we're not. Collusion.
I'm also
Collusion.
interested. Yeah. I 100% think it's collusion, but we will get to that at a different time. I think that is it for the Falcons. Keep us in your thoughts and prayers when it comes to these guys. This looks like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, man. We'll be right back. We gotta round it out with the Braves. Not too much to talk about, just kind of opening day. And we'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our final segment of episode 96 of the Splashcast, the ATL edition. We're going to talk about the Braves. It is finally
Bravos.
baseball season. And the Braves, spring training, summer practice games? Spring games have been going crazy. They've been playing very, 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 very well.
Back to hitting home runs.
Ronald Acuna looks crazy. Austin Riley looks crazy.
I saw Ronnie hit one out of the little stadium they was in.
He hit it out the stadium. He hit it so far out the stadium, the people at the edge of the stadium didn't move. They just...
Oh, there it go. There it go.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that brought joy to my face. Hey, pay that dude again. Whatever he asked for, just go ahead, give him a blank check, give him the money. We need him. The Hawks don't have any sense. The Falcons trying to build something. Please bring some stability back to my life. Pay this man whatever he is owed, and probably a little extra.
Yeah, man. So opening day, March 30th, 2023, which is Friday. That's opening day? Opening day is Friday. Of course, our opening day starter
the
is
confusion on your face. That is the reason that I put that date there so that you would know it's next week. Or this week, excuse me.
Max Fried, of course, is our opening day starter for the second year in a row. Then after Fried, it'll be Strider, Kyle Wright, or we thought Kyle Wright, Charlie Morton, and then a fifth person. Looking for Max Fried to have another strong year. That's another man that, hey, you need to pay him or he's going to leave. There's another guy that needs to be paid. Gonna be our ace. Mike Soroka has been pitching. I'm still holding out hope for Mike Soroka because he was our ace. He was better than Max Fried when they were both healthy 3 years ago. And then, of course, he tore his Achilles twice. So, but he is back to pitching. Had a 1 inning, 1 earned run, 2 strikeout performance. Well, 1.1 innings. So he's still getting his sea legs back. So looks good. Hopefully it'll look good. I mentioned Kyle Wright.
Starting this.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, starting the season with Fried is perfectly fine. He is our ace. Please pay this man.
Excuse me.
And I feel comfortable with him being our ace and the leader of our pitching staff. Yeah, we are onto something good here.
Yeah. I think we've got something good. I think right now, I don't know, and I hate to say this because I love Dansby and I love Freddie, and it remains to be seen what the team looks like. But with Ronald Acuna being 100% for the first time in 2 years, getting Ozzie Albies back, the signings that we've made, the reinforcements that we have. Now, I am scared about Vaughn Grissom, but the signings that we've made, I don't know if we've lost much when it comes to chances of winning the World Series. I think we're pretty much a very similar team.
Yes. We found a way. We're very similar to me how I look at the Kansas City Chiefs. You're just going to have some major subtraction. The thing about the major subtractions is how do you counter those and what do you supplement them with? And we've had the ability that when we have a subtraction, we find another addition. And as long as we continue to do that on these type of, now that we have the majority of people signed, I think that's how they plan to manage this team going forward. Want to get into your boy and him starting on the IL?
Man, Kyle Wright, man. I think he was our only 20-game winner last year. Cy Young winner. Hell of a year. Starting out on the IL. I think it has to do with, I don't know what it has to do. Is it abductor?
Yeah, it's his shoulder. They're trying to, he still doesn't have 100% of the strength that they're looking for. In this time, they're actually going to use Jared Schuster and Dylan Dodd to be the supplement. This will give them an opportunity to kind of get comfortable, get some reps in. And then, the reason that I'm not super concerned about this is you eventually get him back and Soroka to an already pretty strong pitching staff. And at that point, they don't have to pitch. They didn't have to start out pitching a ton of games. But by the time that we need them and really need them, I think, they'll be ready. So we should have a very deep pitching staff and eventually a very strong pitching staff.
Yes. Good points are made. I'm more nervous about Kyle Wright being hurt because Ian Anderson hasn't taken the next step. Ian Anderson, along with Von Griffin, were optioned down to AAA baseball. Both of those guys were supposed to be integral parts in replacing Dansby Swanson and adding to our pitching staff. That makes me nervous.
I think we slow playing here, man. I think we slow playing. We don't want to show our whole hand. I think that you know, because they said Ron Washington basically said that he doesn't think Grissom is fully ready. But we've also seen Grissom play well enough that he can play. If
Play
push
well
came to
enough they
shove,
traded down.
I feel confident that he could play. But I feel like them giving him, a little bit more time to get to where they want him to be is perfectly fine. I feel like
Who's
we're
starting?
going to be
Who's the starter? Albies and who?
Is Acadia? That's who they're gonna go with to start out with.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He hasn't played a ton of shortstop from what they've seen, though. I think they kind of want to see what they have in him first. And then from there, they'll make a decision. I'm not concerned about Vaughn Grissom at all. I do hope that, Ian, and I'm not super concerned about Ian Anderson. Pitcher's a little bit different to me, but I feel like he can get it together. And then Kyle Wright comes on second half, and Mike Soroka comes on, and then you start plugging in more to a team that's already pretty
Charlie
confident.
Morton.
So what?
You forgot about Charlie Morton.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason. If we could just get to 100%,
that's a big.
We're a dangerous team.
We ain't been 100% since the World Series, since before the World Series.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a hard point to get to. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the Splashcast ATL edition of episode 96. Norwood, if we didn't miss anything, take us out.
All right. Number one, before we get into any of that, opening day for the Bravos is on the horizon. We're excited. It feels good to be back into baseball season. Football is getting ready for summer practice. That also is exciting. And the Hawks, we're along for the ride. Whatever happens, happens.
The roller coastiest of seasons. Just stay right in the middle.
It's going to be very interesting. I don't know how that shakes out, but it's going to shake out. I'm not stressing about that anymore. Now that we've covered that, always remember, like, follow, subscribe, support the podcast, tell other people about the podcast, and listen to the playlist. It's fire. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it'll be another 36 next week. I'm working overtime.
Getting warm outside.
With that said,
warm outside.
Yes. Oh, and all the music is outside music.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, more black baseball. Number two, more black cowgirls and more black cowboys. And of course, number three, by far the super most important, the historically black college university that your cousin went to, your auntie went to, the one that your nephew is going to. Send some money over there. Support the historically black college university in your neighborhood. The one that you go to homecoming, step shows, tailgate, just to be around your people. Send some money over there. And then to the greatest learning institution in all the world, the Hampton University. Send some money over there on behalf of me and Reggie. Even if you just send $18.68 on behalf of the year that university was founded, the Hampton University. We would greatly appreciate that. Ain't but one thing left for us to do now, Reg. Hang out.
Appreciate y'all.
Buenos noches. Arrivederci. Until we meet again. Hasta la vista. Waiting for Reggie to hit end on the. This is the Splashcast weekly schedule. You can find us on Monday Night Raw. That is the Around the League edition where we cover all of the major leagues around the league. Tuesday is the ATL edition, Braves, Falcons, Hawks. Wednesday is when the playlist comes out. It's a Splashcast 24, 12, or 36 pack, just depending on the music. Thursday, for everybody who was not able to catch us live on Monday, they can catch up there on the Around the League edition. And then Saturday, of course, we bet beers for Saturday Morning Live. If you ever need to find us, we can be found at thesplashcast.com. And of course, via Instagram at the Splashcast. Welcome to the Splashcast. You can find us at the link below. You can find the podcast versus audio and visual on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Our social media, Instagram, Twitter is @_the Splashcast. We can also be found on Twitch. We can be found on Facebook, TikTok. Also below that, those are our episode playlists. The newest one is always up. We can be found on Apple Music. We can be found on Spotify. There is a playlist home, which is for all of the different playlists. And then we have the playlist master list, which is every song that's ever been on any of the playlists. And of course, for all of you podcasters, we can be found on Anchor @the Splashcast.
We on top, 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 we on top. The watch is 101. It came from Paris. It came with some documents. I'm seeing you do your thing. I know, but I do the opposite. 180. That shit is ass, trash, trash. That shit is sloppiness. Bitch, I know who I am. Hey. Back in the day, I was robbing shit. The ops was having trouble stopping it. Selling out the crib, line up the street, neighborhood was copping it. Mama in the crib, lying through my teeth, told her it was all legit. Fuck how I did it, dirty up my image. Too late, they let me in. Either way, a nigga rich. I'm with $1 million in a smile, I could probably take your bitch. Fly out to France, pull down a pants, pair bonding with my dick. Having conversations over fish. Show her how to stack chips. You was just thought, and now you wanna have a revolution. Now you changed. That ain't a problem. Just don't bring the thought to me unless it's with the brain. Lay flat on the plane. Go to sleep in LA. Then I wake up in Spain. Now we on top. We on